and what operators are available if Mira gets let through, then yeah, we could be looking at that custom sold that you did talk about, which of course makes it so much easier whenever you have those Mira windows. First bans coming in, Maverick and Dokkaebi off the board, so Glaz is available and so is Ying. That's very scary for the defense. You are missing out, off having the Glaz. You don't really care about Maverick. I don't really understand the Maverick ban. Sure, on a map like Clubhouse, but for a map like Border where there really isn't too much of that destructibility factor in terms of the hard breaching walls, because typically you just take your Thermite, you blow open one wall, that's it. Maverick isn't as strong as this because you kind of put yourself at risk with going for the blowtorch because there is a lot of run-out potential and C4s from below, C4s over the top of some of the walls. You have that little bit of an opening. A bit of a weird one, but maybe it's just a preference that maybe they've had issues with a Maverick.
I mean, what's most interesting to me is that Maverick, unbanned on Coastline, was ran exclusively by PACT.
Yeah,
we didn't see LeStream play a Maverick at all. So it's interesting. Maybe they have information that we don't about the way that LeStream plays things. I mean, you do have a lot of broad walls where you can poke holes in. Obviously, Maverick over on the office side of things, as long as you can bait out a C4 or possibly pin down whoever's playing in there so they can't see for you. Theory crafting is always fun, but I am also very interested, as you said, as to why that Maverick was banned out by PACT. It could have also just been a comfort ban. As you said, maybe they just don't want to play against a Maverick.
And also Maestro and Mira, no surprise, once again, both those operators are extremely strong just in terms of any map inside of Sage. Echo being available, it's kind of again the given. Do you want to ban Echo? Do you want to ban Maestro? Take your pick, whatever one you really want to preference, but PACT not even picking the Echo. Instead, they're going to be going with that dot, which we have seen them run so heavily. So certainly that can help a lot more with those kind of long angle fights, which Border does have a lot of those, where you have these kind of deep angles being made by attackers, and then defenders can try and peek and try their hand against more of those aggressive assault rifles. And also, sometimes, behind that half wall, somebody gets downed. You cannot go pick him up because you have the cross being cut off. Stim pistols could come in very clutch in that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've seen a resurgence actually of both the Doc and Rook play in conjunction together. This time around, there's only going to be the one, as Kendra on that Doc is not going to be able to bring Deep back from the dead. The smoke is gone, and Kendra up top on Armory, the site that you are usually going to see people competing on, first and foremost, unsurprising. The smoke being lost is tough. You've also got the Vigil that goes down now, and LeStream, who had a good start to Coastline, are going to continue that here on Border. Alfama, the victim of a run out on East Stairs. Darius just tearing through the Thatcher. The big thing with that Thatcher going down, the EMP that can be thrown at those walls. But I mean, if you notice from PACT side of things, there's no breach denial. There's no bandit, there's no mute, there's nothing to stop, you know, the Thermite of Hicks being able to go through the walls. Meanwhile, Darius, who'd gotten that kill, would be traded off a little bit after refragged by LeStream, as Alfama had fallen about 30 seconds ago, and a 4v2 now favoring LeStream.
I'm very surprised by the amount of opening deaths he's had very early on. Both these teams are really taking it to each other. LeStream having that more aggressive option, which we kind of expected, but then at the same time, PACT overpeaking too much, trying to get the early kills in their favor, but it doesn't work. Saves fails on the C4 because he did not shoot away a little bit of detail on top of that wall. The kill comes in once again for LeStream, leaves him inside of a 1 versus 3 as he picks up one. Rise falls and still a minute to go. Saves trying to work his way in and rotates his way in towards the small office, but this is going to be a very predictable pre-fire spot for the player of Hicks, and Aces just runs on in with the capo, eliminates Saves, and a very quick and early round for LeStream gets things going on Border.
It's a very good entry for LSE as well, on a site that you typically would expect the first crack at to go a little bit better for the defenders, but I mean, these two teams have taken so many chances by engaging in fights within the first minute of action. It's very interesting to watch it unfold because it doesn't see action that often. We're used to, especially on Border, We're used to Border playing out a little bit more methodically, especially on Armory. You know, when you're looking at Armory, you're basically gonna do one of two things depending on where you're going to attack from. Either you're going to make sure you clear out CCTV first, because you know it's gonna be an Armory take, or you clear out East Stairs and you clear out offices, because you know that you're going to be pushing into archives. So that's basically the way it worked out there, but there was so much action so early on. You know, you saw action on both sides of things. You saw action on the Armory side of the wall, you saw action over on East Stairs, and I think a lot of that was PACT playing a bit too loose and not having anybody set up for refragging potential. They lost those two members, they lost the Vigil and the Smoke. There was nobody there to trade them off. It can't happen on Border, especially with how condensed of a map it is. You gotta have that refrag potential.
I personally wouldn't be surprised if we see that very quick B rush where teams want to come in for East Balcony and also the ventilation room window. A very sneaky thing to pull off, but knowing LeStream, they have the gun skill, they have the aggression. It's something they could do. I know that that's one of the strategies that Uno put forward for Ints during their Challenger League run. That was something that they did try and go for. It's basically where you rush in through office, you open up the wall as quick as you can. While that goes down, smokes come in through that ventilation room window, and then you also have somebody just pushing in through the East Balcony, and that happens with inside 30 seconds off the rounds. A very deadly thing to perform, and if you can perfect, yeah, that basically gives you a free round inside the Border. I don't see that LeStream are going to go for that. They're still stuck with what they prefer, is that more slow play style, trying to push in towards CCTV and try and take control of Armory. And from that very, very early kill coming in from PACT, once again, I think early kills is a word that we're very getting accustomed to inside of this matchup. It means that then somebody has to go and pick up that diffuser. And it seems to be that because they've lost their Thermite, they are not getting through the Armory wall anymore. They now have to rotate their way over towards office and try and force their way in through the fountain. But then you still have the hold coming in from the security from PACT, which will make things even more complicated unless Rise can provide big with the C8.
He's not going to get anything with it, though. He's going to lose a teammate as Magic, the Bandit eliminating Uno, the Ash, all gone. That Hard Breacher being felled from LeStream, that is crucial, but Aces is in sight, picks up 2 kills on the Deep, and Kendrew waiting for a third. Goes to the flick, but will not connect. They have control of Archives for the time being. Claymore position, but he'll get destroyed from saves all the way from Armory wall. His team will have his back, though, and that's a successful diffuser planted on behalf of LeStream, and will transition to a post plant. Alfama outside on top of Vents. Rise trying to join him, but saves will shred through him. A beautiful play, and saves eliminated from the Claymore, but the numbers in PACT's favor as Darius observing Magic's defuse, or the disable of said defuse, and PACT looked like they had that round, looked like they lost that round, and then definitively had that round.
Yeah, you lose your Thermite on a Border. That's a very rough round to really pull that back. That was the only option they could go for. Fountain was being held from that security. That east side was the only thing they could really go for. Through the East Balcony, through the window, like I discussed, could be a strategy that they could go for. Almost worked, but really, Rise getting caught out on that rotate, that was the big killer there for LeStream. Anyway, PACT, they pull on through. That just shows that, yeah, they're not going to bow out too quickly to LeStream, and they will continue on with then their second pick bomb site, their ventilation room and their workshop. They're going to be bringing more off a heavy denial with not just the Pulse, but also Valkyrie being brought in. So C4s from below can be used to try and eliminate any attacker, potentially the Buck who wants to try and get in and rip up that floor Border. Very destructible. Top down is so big, especially if LeStream are going to try and look to go for that B plant. If you can cut off that connector hole inside of that quad wall from above, that should be a pretty safe plant for anybody on the attack. I'm sure that's probably how it's going to play out. They're going to try and take upstairs as quickly as they can, enter in free security or office, maybe both, whatever choices they want to, and anybody upstairs, which is kind of a common thing because we do have the castle being brought by PACT, so that kind of tells me that, yeah, they're going to try and hold upstairs as much as they can, but really, how many players are they even going to try and forfeit? But it's not even going to be the case, as they have decided instead to try and roam towards the bathroom side, that castle barricade on the double door of waiting room. So they may be playing for the retake strategy, which is, again, is another common, but but much harder to pull off than an upstairs hold.
I mean, retake strategies are almost always harder to pull off, right? I mean, you basically deliberately concede map control on the surface, when in all reality, you know you can take it back. I mean, hey, Team Liquid, Rise with a double kill out of nowhere and gets silenced by Deep. So a retake strategy here is going to be very, very tough. And as I was trying to say, Team Liquid won a championship and were able to secure a major victory on Border in particular because of the retake strategy against G2. But I mean, it's going to be difficult to retake when you are facing a 4v2 and make that a 4v1. Smoke is down, so that's just Saves, who is upright for PACT. He's got a UMP. Not exactly a pretty formidable weapon. Obviously, a headshot is still a headshot, but I mean, the UMP in most engagements, it's not going to do you very well. And going against an ACOG of any sort, especially in the 5.56 of Thermite, you're not going to have any luck. Hicks will shut that round down, and LSE will take the lead again.
LeStream are playing very back and forth. Sometimes they go much more slow and methodical, and then all of a sudden, they just take the gunfights, they get the refrags, and they push into the bomb site without even taking a buff. It's a very strange type of play for LeStream to attempt. But then that kind of plays into mind games where the enemy team has no idea what they're going to do. Do they want to play more aggressive to stop then that aggression? Or do they try and play more anchor because they know that LeStream will try and play a lot more slower paced? Bit of a weird one for me. Moving on in, we will be headed to round number 4. LeStream, they have that advantage still. Plenty more rounds to go, at least 3 more for PACT to try and get themselves out of this hole in the defense and then bring themselves to a good attack. And then hopefully that's where we can start seeing Kendrew on his buck, which I did glorify him to be. Hasn't showed me that. I'm going to have words with him after. Not impressed, Kendrew.
I mean, he's got flexibility, and that's what matters here for PACT. Obviously, you know, it's and no discrediting PACT's success, but obviously what they used in Challenger League wasn't successful. So I can see why they would create role swaps and operator swaps, because maybe he's really, really good at an operator, but you finished 3rd in Pro League or in Challenger League and failed to get into Pro League. That is obviously something that, well, you're going to need to change up at some point. So, anywho. Round number 4, we're going to see Ventilation Workshop for PACT yet again. Let's see what they can muster this time around. I would imagine that LeStream is probably not going to be as aggressive. This is probably going to be a different take here. I mean, they tried to switch things up on Armory on the LeStream side of things, and they got caught out by PACT last time, so.
Moving in, we have the Buck using that destructibility, trying to create these sight lines. So, like I said, they had the choice between going for that aggressive type of play or play it slow. This time they're going to challenge people upstairs because this time PACT have decided to play some rumors to try and deny access to that Buck and even try and go for the retake. Sure, if LeStream wanted to go for that same strategy where they just force their way in through customs and into the bomb site, you can deny access from above very easily. So that's why it forces attackers to play so aggressive in towards that armory wall. Already, first blood will go in favor of PACT. Ace is off the board, a big fragger, potentially another player down, but no, ADS actually does not grab that flashbang. However, Magic will be there. This is the chemistry that they needed, but does not save them enough from a grenade. Magic whips his shots and has to fall back, takes a bit of damage on the drop. But still, LeStream, they have the control. They take the upstairs, but no, C4 comes out from Saves. Eliminates the Buck, a massive kill, so that destructibility factor exists no more. Saves even to try and get another kill. Trying to go for the floor bang, doesn't succeed, and after a turn of events, PACT are in the advantage.
I mean, that was a great play from PACT to basically buffet all of the buffet the attackers upstairs. It was a considerable investment on the armory doorway and as well that armory wall, but I mean, a great shot from Uno will shut down Saves, who've been playing admirably down inside of vents. Now, what I was going to say was, I mean, you had a Valkyrie camera and the cardiac sensor both being used to make sure that that armory take netted as many casualties for LSE. Uno's going to find yet another kill, which means that Deep is going to have to rotate back. He sees the gun barrel of the Thermite for just a second. It cannot connect with Hicks. A great play, but it's not going to be too much. They got Alfama, but it ends up being impactless as Hicks is there. Wasn't able to shut down the Thermite earlier on, and it's a smart read. from LSE in order to take their third round.
It looked pretty good for PACT. They eliminated that big factor, that Buck, who can do so much destructibility with that skeleton key. But in the end, Uno getting those frags with what holes he had available for himself. Free run is where the score stands, and looking at it, PACT are in a bit of a hard spot. They've lost not just their vents, but they have also lost their armory. Is this maybe the time where they think, this isn't really working out, let's go for a third pick bomb site and see how we fare with that? Doesn't seem to be the case, as the armory is going to be chosen once again by the players of PACT. Last time they solely won the round because they eliminated the Thermite much quicker. If they did not get that, that round certainly would have played out a lot more differently, and it could be a 4-0 scoreline, with LeStream having that massive advantage. Hopefully this time, we did not see that quick kill come on the Thermite, and then hopefully LeStream can form an attack strategy rather than just trying to salvage what they could and go for a very risky and aggressive plant. PACT, they're going to be bringing no Echo on the board, so they're going to lack that bit of denial, which is a bit of surprise on an armory, especially whenever we've seen so many clutch Echo drones in that scenario. Think back to Leon Gids, whenever he had that immense Echo drone stationed up in towards that little back corner of the lockers that denied the plant, won them that round. Stuff like that can really be a big impact change.
Interested here as to how this is going to shape up for LeStream. The last time, and the only victory actually that PACT got the last time they played this site, was because the hard breacher died early. You lost the Thermite on LeStream's side of thing, and you know what? They did have enough time to correct course. If you lose your hard breacher early, good calling means that it's not the end of the world. I mean, most of the time, the odds are going to be against you, especially on armory upstairs, but you have time to make a new decision and put your chess pieces somewhere else on the board. That wasn't the case at all. So as long as Hicks can stay alive, I think LeStream's push here, which does appear to be over on Archives and Office-sided more than anything, this is going to basically push all of PACT deep into the armory lockers sort of deal over by Sandwich, and Hicks almost losing his life again. That is not an engagement you want to take when you know how important the hard breacher is.
Still plenty of time for LeStream to make this Office push work. Last time it was more the armory-oriented side that they wanted to go for with the Thermite. Quick pickup onto the Buck, a very important character because they do have those frag grenades, which makes it so much easier to get rid of anybody inside a fountain and anybody really inside of the B bomb site. You can toss them over the top, and a great pickup there for Aces. Gets his team into the right footing. I'm sure the wall will be opened up for that straight narrow beachhead, and an immense shot by the Ash. Couple of shots, and that's all it takes to put out the flame that was PACT, trying to hold that security. Last 3 remaining members of PACT all just stacked up inside of Armory. This is a very bad situation for PACT to be in, as it could be just essentially a free plant for the players of LeStream. More Bucks go out, and this is where the plant will start to come down momentarily.
Initiation here with the last asphyxiating bolt, trying to hold off anybody from PACT that may enter from the armory side of things. This is a full-blown Archives push now as exothermic charge number 1 goes off and number 2 being placed. It's a lockout for the moment of LeStream as Saves goes goodbye. Rise with the C8 able to pick off a kill. His grenade just falling a little bit short, doing quite a bit of damage to Deep, but that will be it. Kendra counterpunch onto Hicks. The Thermite has done his job, and he will sit on the sidelines for the remaining 30 seconds of this round. In sight is Alfama, but doesn't have the diffuser to get a plant off. Deep trying to hold everything together, a patch job, but PACT will spring a leak as Alfama grabs the final kill of this round. It'll be 4-1 as we head towards the final defense for PACT. Excellent job from LeStream to completely negate PACT's ability to leave the armory side of the site.
We've talked so many times about the aggressiveness that LeStream brings. Whenever they go into the defense, they can be so heavily aggressive in towards that security. A very great position for any roamer who has that great gun skill, which there's numerous people on the side of LeStream who can perform in, behind that desk area. Very, very awkward for anybody to try and challenge. Whenever you combo that with more aggressive natures over towards the armory, kind of shuts down that other angle of going to the doorway, then yeah, that becomes a very difficult hold for PACT, unless they do bring, those frag grenades which make things a lot easier, or potentially the glass, which we have not seen from LeStream. We kind of thought, yeah, that's going to be a glass there, not being banned out. You kind of then expect, oh yeah, a very early glass pick can really do a lot of damage because you cannot counter him in any shape or form because Maestro's gone. The only thing you can do is try and get an Echo Drone or just, fling your C4 and hope for the best. I would imagine that PACT will try and bring out those kind of operators because they are in very dire straits. If they lose this round, they're in a very, very deep hole, and who knows, maybe a player like Deep could maybe try and bring them out of that.
You can't admonish me for making puns and then turn around and have the audacity to make that one.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
You can't do it, Harry.
Why not, huh? You just can't be the pun guy.
I can't be. Milos cracks a lot of
Okay, you can be the pun guy, I'll be the fun guy. Should I stop now? I think I should.
Stop. First kill is going to go to Uno. Takes out saves, and
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
I gotta say, on Coastline, saves made a huge impact on most rounds. He was playing more of a fluid roaming type role, and it's gonna be another here. Uno just walks right in, takes out Darius, gets gunned down from Magic, and Kendrew will add to that. It's 3 and a double from Kendrew. We are 40 seconds into this round, and 5 people are dead.
I have never seen a more quicker pace game in my life. This has been unreal. You never see so many opening deaths come so quickly within the first minute.
To be fair, this was very similar to when Lion got first released. Magic his second kill to double up. Kendrew's got 2 as well, so Aces, who died first last time, well, he's gonna have to go against the 3 remaining members of PACT. And as you mentioned, Aces, of course, was for a time the top fragger in all of Europe, and he's definitely somebody who can take a 1v3. It's all going to be up to how PACT plays it. If their defense on Kitchen and Coastline is any example, this is going to be a lot of patience. Magic gets caught at the wrong time trying to make a vault, and Ace is plotting his potential comeback here. 90 seconds, so time working very much in favor of the attackers. There's a lot of clock for the defense to run out, and that patience that patience might breed restlessness.
Still, goo mines can really heavily affect Aces whenever the goo mine goes off. Not only is it a bit of a pain for Aces to really push on in, it's a sound cue, it's a sound trigger. It alerts the last 2 remaining players of PACT to that position, and both of them hold one angle on either side, very easily clutched from that scenario. Still, Toxic Babes are always going to be a thing to delay him even more, so the more time that Aces takes his play style where he goes back and forth trying to find a pick at least the same way Uno played it, then yeah, things start to happen very, very shortly for Aces as he attempts to go for a plant. And look, the 2 players of PACT just standing still. They try and go for a peek, but the plant will be stopped, and that should be the easy cleanup, which it is. And PACT just taking their time, and it works well. And once again, PACT, they just hang on by the skin of their teeth and pushing on in. That will be 4 rounds to 2 in favor still of LeStream.
With Border being as even as it is, and looking at these bans right now, I mean, I would say that losing Mira and Maestro affects the defenders way more. You look at Dokkaebi being lost. Well, yeah, Dokkaebi being banned is one thing. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if there's a must ban that's going to pop up now that Lion is gone. There's probably going to be a couple operators, I think, that will inhabit that role. But I mean, if there's not a Dokkaebi player on these teams, especially Maverick, these attacker bans might not be affecting much at all, in which case you're just putting the defense at a massive disadvantage. But here's something you don't see every day. It's going to be a bathroom defense for round number 1.
Yay. Love some bathroom because it's something that we don't see all too often. It's a bomb site which has its ups and also has its disadvantages. A big disadvantage is that it's so susceptible to destruction from above. The entirety of that bathroom can be opened up within seconds of a buck getting hold of that because it is such a small bomb site, probably one of the smallest rooms we have a bomb site can be inside of border. And then also the other bomb site has that massive double wall which can completely cut off anybody playing inside of that, and also the drop hatch. So you really need to have a very strong roam game, because Anchor is not a thing for Bathroom and Tellers, because it's so easily counterable. They really need to have their upstairs hold fortified and ready to go. And potentially, Uno, he was looking for a quick spawn peek, but instead decides to barricade that back up. And Doc's going to be a very handy operator, because we've seen so many early gunfights and so many early kills come out. If any downs happen very early on, or even if just a lot of health gets damaged to the defender, that's where Doc and his stim pistol can come in pretty handy, and it just kind of gives you a second lifeline in terms of trying to hold that upstairs. And for the most part, sure, you can try and hold it and kill all the attackers. That never happens. 9 times out of 10, the attackers eventually always take control of office, but then it's all about time wasting, and that's really the main objective for the defenders in this scenario.
I mean, it's already been a minute here into round number 7. First attacking round for PACT, as was noted. Expecting a possible push here from Office. Now, over towards the Office side, the wall being bandited is exactly what you said. You need to fight for that Office control. Those bandit wires are not going to last too long, as an EMP will completely destroy all the bandit batteries, and Aces is going to miss by quite a bit. So he's going to fall off, and actually bandit trick the soft wall. Rise will jump in, takes out Darius. Capitao all gone, and there's 3 members of LeStream all inside, and Deep will take out 2 of them. That is not a smart maneuver, and that will be PACT regaining a numbers advantage here, almost grabbing another kill onto Aces through the wall as Deep sprays away, hoping to hit something.
PACT have rotated their attack in towards the waiting room, and they've tried to pressure in towards that Tellers rather than the bathroom. A quick rotate hole actually going to be made by Hicks to see if he can rotate his way in towards the ventilation for a flank rotate potentially. Ace is still upstairs. I'm surprised that he hasn't been pushed. However, the attack has certainly pushed their aim and their sight towards everybody else. Hicks, last man alive for the downstairs. Still 1 man alive for the upstairs. However, just the 1 man left. Aces being left unaccounted for, has decided to drop his way in towards Workshop, and that is an unwinnable position for him. And PACT, they've seen the weaknesses in towards that defense, and they took full advantage of it in quite successful fashion.
Just to go to show you how these teams have been playing, there have been, I think, unless my numbers are wrong, there have only been 3 rounds where the diffuser has been planted successfully.
That makes sense.
And I mean, that is over, oh no, sorry, my apologies, 5. So there have been 5 times, because they were actually, astonishingly, planted the diffuser twice in overtime of Coastline. So 5 diffuse plants so far as we head into round 23.
Certainly a new LeStream.
I mean, and LeStream is still trying to figure things out with their lineup. I think PACT has given them a pretty good run for their money here, and it's not really a surprise. I mean, like I said earlier on, PACT can hang with good teams. And I mean, there's a great deal of diversity here. And I mean, if it is the belief that the attackers should be winning because of the way that these bans worked, if Mira and Maestro deal almost a near mortal blow to the defenders and the attackers are basically going to be uninhibited in their pushes, then this is actually shaping up quite well for PACT, because they only need to lose 2 rounds to end up on the, you know, the same positioning as LeStream, because LeStream took 4 rounds in the first half.
Yeah, and it can happen at Siege, where the motto is anything can happen, because it's just that kind of game. You know, a complete momentum swing can change the outcome of a match. We've seen times where 5-0s turn into a 7-5 victory. It happens. It's happened even in, you know, Grand Final, for example, Invitational 2-0 down. Penta bring it back, win 32. Yeah, just kind of puts the magic into it that shows that you can never really count a team out until the scoreline says they have.
It's remarkable, really, when you look at it and the way that these 2 teams have been able to put up a really exciting contest here. And I mean, when you look at all the teams that are playing at DreamHack Winter as well, there are a number of matches that could have been argued to be broadcasted on stream. And so far, I feel that we've been really fortunate with the matches that we've had. That first game between Empire and M&M was a lot closer than I think people expected. Even though it didn't go to the 3rd map, it really well could have with the 7-5, 7-4 scoreline. So we turn towards border now, as round number 8 is about 40 seconds in, give or take. And PACT, not too far off this armory wall. A Claymore going down in the doorway will prevent a run out. That's a good read on the way that we've seen LSE playing, and an impact from Rise will take out the Claymore, and he has 1 single HP. He could be reset here, or they could just dock him. It depends on the time. Ace is going down, and it's going to have to use your stim pistols. Here's the second kill from PACT. Come in and say goodbye to the 2 A's of both Aces and Alfama.
Rise is now rotated towards the half wall, but those stim pistols didn't work a charm, as a headshot will put you down no matter what health you're at. Uno also falls as Saves pushes on in, has the long angle being held, and down the Hex, who also, like his teammate, 1 HP is where it stands. Gas canister goes out and does deny that plan, also denies somebody trying to push us in towards the B bomb site, but still too many people for him to cope with, and an easy cleanup for the players of PACT, and once again, another very quick round that went south this time for LeStream.
I'd imagine that we're probably going to see a tactical timeout come very, very soon. I don't know if it... Oh, there you go. Unsurprising. Wow. You see the gesture from the admins with the T. We are indeed going to a tactical timeout, and if I'm Crapel, if I'm LSE, this is the time that I'm doing it, because you've just lost 3 rounds in a row. All the momentum is firmly in the favor of PACT for the time being. The attackers are doing a very good job on both sides, from LSE's side and PACT. Of course, LSE doesn't get another opportunity to attack unless it goes to overtime. And right now, you need 3 rounds over the next 4 in order to guarantee that you don't lose. You need 2 of those just to go to OT. So it's a daunting time for LSE, or it's a daunting task for LSE, and it's the right time, I think, for a timeout.
Yeah, certainly I think Capel can pull his team back into the momentum. You were a team that was 4-1 up at a stage. That should be, you know, a pretty smooth sailing game from then on in, you know, win 7-2, 7-3, even at a push. But no, PACT, they have had the determination, they've had the drive, they've brought it back into an equal advantage. And yeah, this is where I talked about a team like LeStream who have those emotional players like Uno. If things go wrong, he will say so. And this may be where Crapel sees an early stage of that and wants to make sure everybody is there. You know, coaches are not just there to be the strategical minds, but also there as that morale captain, that morale boost to try and bring everybody back into the mindset that they need to be. I
mean, it actually appears that PACT is the one who took the tactical pause, which is very interesting, because I think they realize now, so they've won on both bathroom and on armory upstairs. All 4 sites are completely unlocked from LeStream. Might as well take your tactical timeout now, but I think that's very interesting, because I don't think they took one at all in that first map, at least not the one that was communicated to us. You don't get a ton of time to go through with it, but we're going to go back into the game now. So, I mean, you have an opportunity for both teams to confer amongst themselves for the 30-odd seconds that you get for your tactical timeout. And it's going to be yet another defensive hold of armory upstairs. I think this is the best bet for LeStream to be able to net a win on defense. It is typically the site that you're going to expect to win more often than not. Is widely considered to be the best site. I think LeStream just got a little bit too aggressive there, and PACT was ready for it. Those two very early picks, I believe it was from Saves and Kendra, really started the ball rolling for PACT on that round.
Yeah, Rise was also very lucky not to bite the dust either of that aggressive run out that he tried to challenge the Thermite. But then that's the kind of format where PACT, they've played against them already on a map. Now they know what they're going to expect time and time again. Sure, your strategies may change depending on the map, but your playstyle is still going to be the same. The way you try and play aggressive, which is definitely the main thing that we take away from this entire weekend from LeStream, is that they have those aggressive plays and they want to try and get in your face. It's much more of a riskier position you want to play. It does work, gives you massive payouts, but also if you lose those gunfights, then you basically throw away a round.
Oh, what a shot. Uno's been landing these all day, a mile away as he eliminates Saves through that same rotate hold that we saw last round. Gives you a really good vantage point playing inside of Office to control the doorway into CCTV and into break room, but that's really all it gives you. There's not much else because the rest of CCTV is cut off from a variety of walls and pillars. Aces will join Uno though inside of Office as there's a prone hole that the Echo is going to crawl through, and actually very interesting to see Aces on Echo. He's going to pick up a kill onto Kendra after Kendra takes out Uno, so one ACOG will go on either side of things. There's a holo on the F2 of the Twitch, taking close range engagements of Kendra that will be gone from PAC's side of things. And Alfama trying to make sure that the deployable shield isn't going to go anywhere, as the armory wall is conceded by LeStream. They'll have to hunker down over by the bomb and the doorway to small office in a spot that is commonly referred to as sandwich, which is in between those 2 rows of lockers. There's no real pixel peek available for Deep. He's looking for it, but wisely, LSE is not going to take any engagement, as they do hold a numbers advantage, and they don't want to throw that one away as we enter the second half of the round.
The final stage that PACT need to perform. Talking about that sandwich area, the window is where Magic will try and play. It cuts off anybody playing close in towards the bomb. Person right below the window, Magic doesn't hear it, but they certainly hear him. A Thatch grenade, there's no way that he should not know, and the quick jump out from Alfama will finish off the Thatcher, a 4 versus 2, and even gets away with his life. Deepest pushes way in under the cover of those asphyxiating bolts, but the smoke arrow was just too late. Toxic Babes and also Echo Drone denies it, and the shots rattle on through on Alfama. Second kill for him. Immense plays from the players off LeStream, and they take that round wherever they need it to.
That's a big round win to get LSE back into this game. They saw it slowly slipping away from them. They lost those 3 rounds. The tactical timeout that was caused by PACT might have actually been a blessing in disguise for LeStream to be able to communicate with one another.
They can still use theirs.
Yeah, and they still have the opportunity to use theirs. And Armory's in the bag, but now it becomes more difficult. Ventilation Workshop is next on the board as what is typically known as our second most common site on Border. And it's funny because there have been a number of games, when you look at the way that site rotation is played here by the defense, but a number of games where the defenders have started out their side on bathroom tellers. And it almost never works. There's very few exceptions. I feel like Vitality might be the only team that has actually done that. When they were known as Millennium, LeStream played bathroom tellers with some regularity, but it's a site that you gotta make sure your strats are perfect, because the site doesn't lend itself well to the defense unless you are running a very strat-heavy play. You can be overwhelmed and overrun within seconds, and that's exactly what we saw for LeStream. So if they do end up going back to bathroom tellers, which I would guess they probably won't for the remainder of this contest,
5 seconds left.
they have to be more prepared. I would imagine Customs is next on the line if LeStream ends up winning on Ventilation Workshop. Keep in mind, with the new rule set, match point is now 6 rounds, not 5. So there's still at least 2 more rounds ahead of us, Harry.
Yeah, Bathroom Tellers is one of those bomb sites where you can only play it one way. There's no other options that you cannot just hold the office. You have to play it that one direction, and if you make one mistake, that's it over. That's going to be the detrimental that costs you 1 or 2 kills, and then the attackers have that esteemed advantage. And like you said, you need to really have that pitch perfect as much as you can. And a very new team who's only been playing for a couple of days, that's not going to be developed for months until they are really sure they can win every single time they play that bomb site.
It was interesting. There was a lot of expectations about the way that LeStream would play, because very similar to the way that G2 has shaped itself up, this LeStream team is a bit of a dream team here for a lot of people, because you're assembling one of the best Finnish players. Oh! Aces! Oh no! An excellent play there from Saves on great game sense to shut down the Echo and possibly take out a second in case somebody from LeStream had rotated in. There will be no rotation there. Kendra doesn't check his corners, and Uno from below will shut down the Blackbeard playing at the top of main stairs.
Yeah, that's a very lucky kill there for Save. Just goes for the spray, manages to get that immense headshot in towards the player off LeStream, and that has really put them in the firm footing that they need to have if they want to take this round and pull it back to 5-all. Magic also has the LMG and can just spray and pray as much as he wants, and will do just that. Uno takes up the position of his fallen comrade and could potentially try and play aggressive for a late rotate. We know this is something that LeStream can do so much, and it may work out for him. Sure, there may be a Claymore on the stairs, but it is one of the more easier Claymores to get rid of. This may end very badly, but no, just manages to ninja his way past the Claymore, and he could be on for a detrimental flank.
He sees one, he'll manage to down the Thermite. Knew there was a Sophia, but cannot get the reflex. He'll be pushed from 2 angles, wasting time. Means that Rise will have to do the rest of the work. He'll gun down Magic into a 1v2, diffuser down, a silent drop, and pings for Rise, or Hicks rather, a great shot onto Saves. He's just got to deal
Attackers
with
have recovered their
Darius.
diffuser.
Possibly trying to draw him out with the sound of tearing down the castle barricade, but for the time being, he might be blind. Doesn't know where the Hibana is, but there you go. The mark's coming down. The question is, will Darius bother to stick to it? Wisely, he falls off. Only 25 seconds. Is this going to be a game of chicken here between these two teams? Darius, the 3-speed, able to cover the ground quite fast. Type 89 out. He sees the smoke. And Hicks just not fast enough. Darius saves the round after Hicks coming so close to putting another notch in the belt for LSE. Match point will be denied. We will keep playing on as we are now tied 5-5.
I could see another potential 15-rounder coming up very, very shortly. It's a word we can't use that, but yeah, we never used to, but now we certainly can. 15 rounds is the maximum now that we can get to in a single map. And maybe going the same way that Coastline did, as both these teams back and forth, back and forth. Last time, it was on Coastline, PACT were up 5-4. Now it was LeStream up 5-4, and well, both of them have pulled it back respectively on the maps. And going into it, 5-5, this is where the mind games, this is where the fatigue starts to set in, because this is going to put whoever wins this round onto the match point. If you are the team on match point, it gives you a lot more flexibility. It knows you have a safety net. If you do lose that round, it's okay. You can try and pull it back in towards the overtime. If you are against that, you lose that round. If you make any crucial mistake, that's you've lost the map. That's where teams who are on the losing side have to work 10 times harder than the team who's winning.
LeStream looked to be doing quite well on Coastline before they relinquished the lead after a 2-round swing went to PACT, and then PACT ended up on match point first. They choked it. That's when we went to overtime.
5 seconds remaining.
Similar situation. Both teams are tied at 5 here, so there will be no breathing room. You'll have 1 round to either win it or go into overtime. That's it. That's going to be your metric, or that's going to be your measuring stick for success over these next 2 rounds. It's been an exciting contest on both Coastline and Border, so I'd imagine that under the wire, it's going to be no different here. Going to go back to ventilation and workshop downstairs, as Armory will be locked and will only unlock next round. So they will play it once more, no matter what happens.
So the droning phase does kind of indicate that PACT may be looking to first of all take control of these stairs and then maybe work their way down in for a teller's push, or we'll see if they want to change their mind. See that there's a bit of utility being used by LeStream, has the castle barricade on that double waiting room, which denies any long angles being played from east stairs. A very common position that you can shut down anybody rotating from ventilation room in towards the customs, and really anybody inside of corridor as well. A very strong position. A lot of setup being set towards the top floor as well, so maybe PACT may see this and think, yeah, we can kind of challenge. We see there's only an Echo, doesn't have that same flexibility and movement, but there is a shield that he can play behind and try and use that ACOG to the best of his ability. The MP5 SD is nothing really to look away from. It's a headshot machine, just like the MP5 its counterpart is like. And look where Kendra is, a very aggressive position, top of main stairs. Can he find any angles? Somebody's going to be right beside him, and he sees the Doc and picks up the Doc's head, and even his teammate picks up the Echo, so both of the heavies down. And this is where the players of PACT can just go ham on the floor. They have the Ash launchers, they have the skeleton key, but still 3 more players to find. Make that 2. As Magic picks himself up his kill on the Sophia.
And Uno getting aggressive onto the stairs. I think he expected to possibly catch somebody off guard, knowing about the remodeling that's being done up in Armory by both the Ash and the Buck. Tons of soft destruction in the hands of PACT, and well, they have a 5-2 advantage for the time being. These murder holes they've opened up above them will pay dividends if somebody from LSE does not move carefully. And you can just see from Hicks's perspective how much he needs to watch. It's a flawless round for PACT, as they will take the lead again after losing it ever so slightly. There was that 1 round possible flash in the pan there for LSE, as it's now PACT on match point.
This is definitely gearing up for 15 rounds. It seems to be going towards that direction, but then it does depend on if LeStream can keep it together and push for that overtime. They do have their preferred bomb site, they have the Armory available, so then you do expect them to do a lot better than like we previously have seen. They had no real trouble with the last time that PACT tried to attack on in and through the armory and try to go for the very standard plant. It works very well, but can be countered very easily because you have Toxic Babes, you have Yokai drones, C4s, the whole lot to deny anything. But we will see a kind of similar lineup from PACT, nothing really out of the ordinary, and still no Ying and no Glass for these attacks, which I'm still surprised about. You have a very strong operator where we have seen him do so much damage. Why not take the Glass?
It's been very interesting actually seeing that there hasn't been a very wide variety of operators that have been played from either team. It's not even necessarily Glass, it's that both teams have been sticking with the same 6, 7, maybe 8 operators on both attack and defense. And I don't know, a big part of that could be if you're taking the time to possibly experiment with your strats and do role swaps and stuff like that.
10 seconds to go.
This is a learning process. That could explain, number one, why there's been so few diffuses, because it's much more difficult to execute successfully with no strategies and get a diffuser down if you're just kind of pugging it, so to speak. Also could be that if they're trying to work on new strats and get things under their belt, that it's rather beneficial for them to just play the same operators time in and time out and master the strats they have. And they might not, I mean, for LeStream in particular, there's probably very little that they're working with right now because they lost Liven, who was doing most of their IGLing. They lost Renshiro, whose roles themselves were not very flexible, but he played them very well and reliable in most strategies. So that's something to think on here. But match point in favor of PACT. 30 seconds in, Harry, and it's going to be back up top to Armory for LeStream. This was a site that they won, but then because of the way that the site rotation works, well, they had to go down to vents, and they were utterly unsuccessful.
You've got to be kidding me in that scenario. How does he miss that? I have no idea how Alfama did not hear that thermite charge. He did the wrong wall. That is, I think he may have to go back and look at that, because that has been the second time that's happened to LeStream, where the wall was the freest bandage charge of anything we've seen so far, and he just missed it. However, Rise will try and pick up the pieces, but will fall himself behind that wall. Kendry here trying to see if he can push on in, try and put more pressure onto the remaining 2 members off LeStream. Down to the Echo and down to the Valkyrie. Uno and Aces, the final 2 players, the Fraggers. Can they pull off this immense gun skill? Aces trying to make that miracle become a reality. Uno also falls, so a 1 versus 3. Can the Echo clutch this up? Not likely in this scenario. And it seems to be, Parker, we're going to be heading to map number 3.
Almost a kill there from Aces, but the plant is so exposed! Aces will see him, but cannot get away! The low damage on that MP5 being the culprit here. Thermite of Deep is just gonna lie prone, waiting. A good advantage for PACT as they hold a 3v1 in a post plant with all the sites trained on that diffuser and no trading whatsoever for LeStream, and good refrag potential from PACT. And also the intel too, as you can see the Echo getting spotted over and over again. He pulls out the bearing 9, knows there's many sights on him, and it's likely going to be the Thermite to spot him first. PACT will send us to Clubhouse map number 3 as they take it